So, over the weekend, Alpo Martinez, aka Alberto Martinez, aka Alpo, the drug dealer slash kingpin slash informant, was murdered on Halloween night around 3 o'clock in the morning in Harlem, New York. They keep wording it and saying it was a drive-by shooting. What most likely happened was he got pulled up on and they dumped a whole bunch of bullets into his car. If you don't know who I am, my name is D-Rel. This is Rel's Rants Reloaded, and we're going to talk about it. First of all, if you can, like, subscribe, and share, and let's get into it. The interesting thing about Alpo and this video, and just in general, when I relaunched this YouTube channel, the first video I made was when he came home and then he was spotted in the streets. You had a whole bunch of famous Instagrammers and social media leaders with their opinions, voicing stuff and calling him a rat and this, that, and the third. And that video was pretty much saying like, okay, yeah, he might have snitched on people, but at the end of the day, he still killed a lot of people and made sure his gun went hot when he needed it to. If you ever seen any of the videos of him or him making statements when he was in jail, he would tell you that Alpo made a decision for Alpo. He had to be selfish because they were going to pretty much put a needle in his arm and kill him, give him the electric chair or whatever, if he didn't make that sort of deal and snitched on everybody. Not saying it was a honorable thing to do. The game is the game. Now, with that being said, when he came home, sometimes you have to look into the psyche of a person and their demeanor and their aura and the legend of them. He came home and he was walking around in Harlem in broad daylight like nothing happened, like he was cleansed of his sins. And people have to understand, people were murdered, people are in jail and will never come home because of his testimony and what he did. So the streets don't forget, and that's the part of the game people don't understand. And the thing with Alpo, they always gave him this mystic aura of his cool, him wearing Dapper Dan stuff and being fresh. If you remember back in the 2000s, early 2000s, you had the Don Diva magazine. He was on the cover, you know what I'm saying? So he was this icon of an era and something new for the young up and coming and wannabe thugs and gangsters to kind of look up at, minus the snitching part, because he did put in a lot of work in the drug game and as a murdering, killing person. So these two things, minus the snitching part, a lot of people wanted to reenact, even fucking people like Shine, calling himself Shine Poe during his run with Bad Boy. So he had a whole bunch of, he was like an urban legend. And then when he came out, you seen him on the street and it was like catching a picture of Bigfoot. Nobody's seen him in over 35 years. And now you see this person where you only seen on reenactments of movies like Paid in Full and VHS tapes that they had called The Game Is Over, and people doing commentary about this dude. Because remember, it was Rich Porter, AZ Faison, and Alpo. He's most known for killing his business associate, Rich Porter, during a incident that was going down, and it was like some real shady shit. And they have him on audio while in jail. He said the only thing he regrets is killing his man, Rich Porter. Now, with that being said, 35 years in, you come out, you're running the streets. You have to understand, and I'm getting to be this sort of person also. When you reach a certain age, you're stuck in your ways. Your home is your home. Some motherfuckers don't want to do witness protection. Some motherfuckers already have made their deal with the devil and they waiting for their contract to expire. And I feel in this case, he was just literally buying out his time, waiting for his contract to expire. When dude was just a bold motherfucker. When he came out of jail and he did one interview, he literally got in the car with some guy who was interviewing him, and the video's on YouTube. And he took them and drove to the place where they literally killed Rich Porter and where they buried or took his body and dumped it off. That's some bold, disrespectful shit. That's coming from a dude that, you know what, at the end of the day, he really don't give a fuck. So that's when I made that video a couple of years back talking about all of the social media influencers and the social media justice warriors having a word to say about old boy, but at the end of the day, they didn't put in nowhere near as much work as he did, especially with his gun game and getting money as far as with the drugs. Now, like I said, I understand when people get older, they're stuck in their ways, especially being from New York. And if you know Harlem niggas, Harlem is their home. That is their Mecca. That is, you could fucking, if you had to start from scratch, you could be on top. If you had to start from scratch, motherfuckers would go right back to Harlem, rinse and repeat, and try to make it out again. It's just something in their DNA. And he was being filmed going back to Harlem and chilling and hanging out and being social and being around people. And like I said, he knew he signed a contract with the devil, just waiting for that contract to expire. And on Halloween, which is real funny, it expired. This should be a wake-up call to dudes like Tekashi 5'9", who are just out here in the streets and walking around like it's all good. Life is precious, dude. You got, and Tekashi 5'9" is not a real gangster by any means. He rode with gangsters or gang members. He's a rapper. He's not no super tough. He's not even, you can't compare the two. But with that being said, you know what he did. He turned state's evidence on people so he could get a lighter sentence, and people went to jail and he came home. Now he's running the streets on camera, being flamboyant, talking shit, blah, 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 blah. Another guy you got out there like that, which I would say would be on the same level, if not more, in a higher profile status, is Sammy the Bull Gravano. He's a real gangster. You know, he snitched on John Gotti. Everybody has their reasons on why they did these things. But I think he's more of an intelligent gangster that, okay, he has his own YouTube channel. He's making money with his story and stories from the mafia. It's monetized. But I guarantee you, you probably won't be able to find this dude anywhere, especially New York, Little Italy, or any of those old neighborhoods or places that he ran when he was involved in La Cosa Nostra. Some people are just smart and some people just don't give a fuck. I'm not saying Aplo wasn't smart. I just feel that he felt like, I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm not going in witness protection. I'm going home. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. He was born in Harlem, or he was raised in Harlem. He died in Harlem. Now, what I have done, if that was me, and I had a history like that and a background like that, I would have came out and I would have made at least a quick 10 to 20 million. I would have did the social media shit. Called the daggone Culture Vulture Vlad. Vlad, you want an interview? I need X amount of dollars. And I would have sat down or gave exclusive interview to the highest bidder. Got me some money there, then went somewhere and hid out in Maine or Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or West Bubblefuck, Wisconsin. Then I would have got my people on the phone, get in contact with 50 Cent. 50, I'm going to give you the exclusive rights to the story. Dame Dash already did the paid in full. I'm going to give you my version. You make a TV show out of it. That's what I would have done, but at the same time, stayed low. But you can't tell people what to do and how to move. People are always going to be their own, especially men. Men are always going to be their own man. And I think that he was just real comfortable and probably had the mindset of, I know it's going to happen one day, it's just when. Happened on Halloween. People probably been tracking his movements. You got people that he done snitched on in Harlem and DC, people that he done murdered. He done put a lot of people's family through shit. So at the end of the day, you can't be surprised that it happened. Now on the Daily News, you have his son, who goes by the name of Paparazzi Poe. He's a rapper and a gang member. He's saying that he might fear for his life. I don't think the game is like that. I think there's still some sort of rules to this shit. At the end of the day, that might be your dad. You're not him. You're nowhere on the status of him. What happened to him was business. It wasn't personal. He had a debt he had to pay to the street, and on Halloween, he pretty much got cashed out. At the end of the day, it's not glorifying him getting murdered. Nobody's life should be taken, especially the ones that he took. But I said this on a Facebook post, and you got a lot of people that had harsh words to say of rest in piss, Aplo, and it's about time, this, that, and the third. When you're in a certain game, whether it's drugs, murder, shit, you could be a stick-up kid or somebody that steals. You don't even got to kill people. The universe always gives back what you put into it. If you're a murderer, I hate it when people be like, oh, he's gone too soon. Why they do that? Because he was a murderer. He did dirt. Dirt came back. It's like if somebody's a stick-up kid. You done stuck up people all your life, and then when you get out the game, you get stuck up. You got to take that on the chin. You got to take that on the shoulder. The game gave you back what you put out into it. If you're a person that gives love, you gotta receive love. If you're a person that gives hate, you can't get mad when you receive it. Same shit with this daggone drug game and the murder game. Look, at the end of the day, before all this BMF stuff that came out and now was publicized and famous, this, that, and the third, it was in the 80s. AZ, Rich Porter, Aplo, and then post that you have Mob Style with the music. The circle's now complete. That chapter is now over. AZ's the last man standing. Mind you, these are grown men that Richard Porter would have been in his 50s. Aplo was 55, I think, or 53. AZ is in his 50s. This is what the game gives you. And if you look at any content that's on YouTube from AZ, he's been trying to tell dudes that this is what the game gives you. The game is not forgiving. The game don't forgive. You don't get a daggone 401k and a social security plan. It's either you get out, get straight, or you go to jail, or you leave in a box. In this instance, dude went to jail, snitched, ratted, came home, and now wound up in a box. They're probably not going to look, and the funny thing is, they're probably not going to investigate too hard into who did this. Now this case is closed. The game is the game. And to these young cats out here, this should be a cautionary tale to these dudes like Tekashi 5'9", who are rats in 2021, 2022. You can't get that shit off of your daggone record. Two things a man cannot get off his record: snitching on somebody and putting a penis in his mouth. That shit don't come off your credit report. Tekashi 5'9" should look at this as an example of when they want you, they are going to get you. And mind you, Tekashi 5'9" is not a factor in any which way possible. He could be on videos with DJ Academics and Whack 100 and talk his shit. At the end of the day, if they want you, they will come and get you. You are not invincible, and it'll probably be somebody real close in your security circle that will put you on the chopping block to get got. Rails Rants Reloaded. And the funny thing is, on the same night, we had a good weekend. We had a good weekend and we had a bad weekend. Jay-Z and LL Cool J got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Jay-Z did some shit that he had to do and he couldn't, go around it. He named the people that helped him get there, and that was Biggs and Dame Dash. It's not like a closure, but the recognition, the love, it was like, it's been a long journey in his career, but he wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for those two dudes. And then then a couple of hours later, they killed Aplo. So that was kind of just fucked up. Rails Rants Reloaded. I'll holla at y'all. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Peace.